It's sad when you have to discuss a film that you could spend a lifetime talking about, but only have a limited time to do so. When you want to convey everything a groundbreaking movie did for the world of cinema, but really only have time to make it a recommendation. Maybe discuss one scene in great detail and then move on. But they know I can't spend forever sitting here talking about it. They're probably watching me. Well, let them. Let them see what kind of host I am. I'm not even going to spoil the movie's ending. It's too great an experience for those who have yet to see this movie. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say, why he wouldn't even harm a viewer's experience. They also might begin to wonder why they can hear the thoughts in my head. I don't know, honestly. But I'll tell you this much. I do recommend seeing this movie.
Psycho. Released upon the world in 1960. Directed by the man who was dubbed, the world over, as the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. Hailed as one of his defining masterpieces, it is his most successful and widely his most discussed overall. Psycho was a film unlike any other at the time. It single-handedly stabbed its hooks into us, and grabbed us, and dragged us into a more modern era of film, both in how films are made and how they were watched, forever changing the filmgoer's expectations of what an on-screen story could be. And like any great film that could be classified as horror, its presence stayed with you long after the credits rolled. Adapted from Robert Bloch's novel of the same name, Hitchcock unleashed his mastery in suspense to create the definitive horror shocker. Nearly all mystery and suspense films thereafter are compared to. This was a film that allowed Hitchcock to reign over the movie-going public and even set his own rules as to how it was to be viewed, by not permitting a single soul into the theaters once a screening of the film had begun, nationwide.
Psycho. The scene is the DeMille Theater in New York. The entire motion picture industry knows that Psycho is being exhibited with a special presentation policy, a creation of Paramount Pictures showmanship.
I've suggested that Psycho be seen from the beginning. In fact, this is more than a suggestion. It is required.
And here is what Broadway saw. No one, but no one, will be admitted to the theater after the start of each performance of Psycho. The audience had been sold this concept. With it, they were sold on Psycho.
I dare a film to try something like that today. Tonight's scene is possibly the most definitive shocker scene in all of cinema history. But before continuing, I will tell you, if you have not seen this movie, I highly suggest you do yourself a tremendous favor and go experience the film for yourself, and respectively, give it your undivided attention. I will not be spoiling this film in its entirety. In fact, I will be showing very little of the second half of this movie at all. But in honor of my favorite horror scenes of all time, I will be fully revealing one of the film's most profound and defining moments, which is a midpoint spoiler. If you have not seen the movie for yourself, that was your last warning. In Psycho, Marion Crane, unforgettably played by Janet Leigh, wishes to marry a man named Sam Loomis.
What do I do with my free afternoon?
Who claims he can't because of debts he owes.
Tired of sweating for people who aren't there. I sweat to pay off my father's debts and he's in his grave. I sweat to pay my ex-wife alimony and she's living on the other side of the world somewhere.
Because of this, Marion, who is a real estate secretary, decides to steal a sum of cash.
I declare.
I don't. That's how I get to keep it.
That was originally entrusted to her to be deposited in a bank.
I don't even want it in the office over the weekend. Put it in the safe deposit box in the bank and we get him to give us a check on Monday instead.
Marion, in making haste to leave town and acting suspicious,
I'm in no mood for trouble.
What?
draws the attention of a car dealer.
It's not that I don't trust you, but...
But what? Is there anything so terribly wrong about making a decision and wanting to hurry? Do you think I've stolen my car?
As well as a police officer, causing her to become paranoid during her travels.
Hey!
Just put it in here, please. Thank you.
Literally playing scenarios of people suspecting her in her head.
Yes, Mr. Lowry.
Carolyn? Marion still isn't in?
No, Mr. Lowry, but then she's always a bit late on Monday mornings.
Buzz me the minute she comes in. You better run out to the house. She may be unable to answer the phone.
Her sister's going to do that. She's as worried as we are.
She left this office on Friday. She said she didn't feel well and wanted to leave early. I said she could. That was the last I saw her. Oh, wait a minute. I did see her sometime later driving. I think you'd better come over here to my office, quick.
This leads to her to decide to traverse off the main highway as a storm hits. She can hardly see the road ahead of her. She decides to pull off the road to what seems to be a quaint little motel. Bates Motel. A neon sign glows like a beacon in the storm and reads, "Vacancy." She pulls up to the office and sees no one in attendance. So venturing back outside, she sees a large house looming over the motel. The lights inside are burning. Someone must be home. The silhouette of an elderly woman crosses over one of the windows. Marion re-enters the car and blares the horn. And before long, a man emerges from the dark porch of the house and comes down to meet her. Norman Bates, manager and son of the motel's owner, Norma Bates. Norman is a nervous man, but he seems friendly enough.
Dirty night.
You have a vacancy?
Oh, we have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies.
But Marion is still on edge from her previous experiences.
Oh, I thought I got nothing.
Marion intends to take a shower and then simply go to bed and end this night. That is, until Norman asks her up to the house for dinner.
Well, then would you do me a favor? Would you have dinner with me? I was just about to myself. You know, nothing special, just sandwiches and milk, but I'd like it very much if you'd come up to the house. I don't set a fancy table, but the kitchen's awful homey.
A noticeably uncomfortable Marion has accepted. But moments later, she hears,
I tell you, no. I won't have you bringing strange young girls in for supper. By candlelight, I suppose, in the cheap erotic fashion of young men with cheap erotic minds.
Mother, please.
And then what? After supper, music? Whispers?
Mother, she's just a stranger. She's hungry and it's raining out.
Mother, she's just a stranger. As if men don't desire strangers. As if... Oh, I refuse to speak of disgusting things because they disgust me. You understand, boy? Go on, go tell her she'll not be appeasing her ugly appetite with my food, or my son. Or do I have to tell her because you don't have the guts? Huh, boy? You have the guts, boy?
Shut up! Shut up!
Marion realizes that Norman and his mother have a bit of a strange relationship. It is both close and distant at the same time. Norman still has dinner with Marion in his office, where he begins to discuss his relationship with his mother and the history of the Bates Motel. He reveals some dark and discomforting things, but seems to have enough love and respect for his mother to take care of her.
To tend the cabins and grounds and do little errands for my mother. The ones she allows I might be capable of doing.
Do you go out with friends?
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
It is obvious, regardless of Norman's opinion of his mother, that Marion feels ill at ease.
I don't hate her. I hate what she's become. I hate the illness.
Wouldn't it be better if you put her someplace?
You mean an institution? A madhouse? People always call a madhouse someplace, don't they? Put her in someplace.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to sound uncaring.
It's not as if she were a maniac, a raving thing. She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
And before long, decides that she needs to get this night over with, so she can continue her journey the following morning. Now, without further ado, tonight's scene. The following is among the most famous scenes in history, and for great reason. At this point in the film, audiences were not exactly sure what to expect, though Hitchcock's signature suspense building is firing on all cylinders. We are a third into the film when Marion Crane enters the shower, and then
Mother! Oh, God! Mother! Blood! Blood!
45 of the most famous seconds ever printed to film. The 78 shots that you just witnessed sent shockwaves through movie audiences all over the world. Every moment of this scene was something an audience in 1960 could have never prepared for. Witnessing the time's most realistic depiction of a stabbing ever filmed to a woman who was trapped helplessly in a shower. Close-ups of flesh, the sound of the knife penetrating, the blood that runs down the drain, and on top of every terrifying and unexpected moment here, it all happened to the film's starring role. Killing off the lead character a third of the way through the film was not only shocking, but downright unheard of. To the point, the audience had no idea what was to come of the remaining runtime. But there were even more horrors in wait. As genre-defining as this scene was, Hitchcock had more to unleash upon his audience even still, making in full one of the greatest films ever made, and one that I will not ruin here for anyone.
Undoubtedly, a classic and groundbreaking film. Released by a director that everybody would have called mad. But upon its release, the entire world went mad for this film. A film that has no vacancy for the uninspired. Because no matter what you do, if your creation is worth calling suspenseful in the least, it gets compared to the work of Hitchcock. And more than not, compared to this very film. A film that inspires me, that I truly would say I am mad for. But that's okay. We all go a little mad sometimes.